welcome back to another episode of the Gone Bush podcast. I'm Rocky, this is Froggy, and today we're going to be talking about something very serious, but it's something I know people are sick of, but we need to hear about it every day until we start fixing the problem. But first, we're going to have a chat about a couple of things. The first, the support we've received for the past two episodes, frankly, just amazing, and your support really has meant a lot to us. But if you want to either support us or continue supporting us, the best way you can do that is by hitting three buttons: like, subscribe, and share. If you could do that, believe me, that helps more than anything else you can do. That's a great help to us. Second thing, from today's episodes onwards, or should I say from today onwards, our Facebook page and YouTube page will be changing names. We're going to now call everything Gone Bush. And that just makes things a lot more simpler when it means for new people to find us. They don't have to go through a Magic Media or anything like that anymore. Speaking of a Magic Media, that will continue to exist as the entity behind the production of our shows. He's Magic, I'm Media, which is very true because he had the Magic name for a long time and I brought the media aspect to it. So because that entity still will exist, the end outro video will remain the Magic Media video. And something else I want to quickly touch on, as I'm sure you're all very much aware that the fires have been in Hawaii destroying the place, especially in Maui. If you'd like to in any form of way help the Hawaiian or Maui people and make a donation, you just have to contribute or donate to the Maui Strong Fund. And if you want to get onto that website, it's down in the link below, and it's also hawaiicommunityfoundation.org. Like I said, link in the description. All right, that's the first few things we had to cover. Now, there's some other things you wanted to talk about before we get into the serious stuff.
I was going to talk about the moon landings recently.
With India?
Well, actually Russia as well.
Oh, but yes, but it was the Indians most recently.
Well, the Indians have claimed to have done it.
That's right, yes.
Right, and...
gone to space or the moon?
On the moon.
They think they're on the moon. Okay.
Apparently they've landed on the moon.
Right.
I'm going to go over that.
Oh, this is really racist, but did they plan a taxi there?
No. Well, what I'm going to tell you is I don't want to be seen as negative or anything either, but I need to just point a few things out here.
I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, we're going to get in trouble, but... I'll just start with the Russian one because that was first, right?
Yeah,
I think it'd just be fair that we start there because they were first to attempt.
Well, yeah, Sputnik and everything.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, America reckons they did, but we know that was bullshit. They did, right? So
waving flag.
We'll get to the bullshit bit more in a minute, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as Russia's concerned, good attempt, well done, right? But my concern is, are they going to come back and clean up their fucking rubbish on the moon? Because I mean, that's littering, isn't it?
I don't know.
If everybody does that, the moon will be full of fucking rocket ships.
I don't know. Who governs the moon?
I don't know.
Is it like... Because NASA's American.
Well, I think that India is going to sue Russia for their rubbish because they would effectively be able to claim that they own the moon now, since they reckon they landed on it.
Oh, again, this is so wrong, but I've got to say it anyway. Wouldn't the Indians get there and see all the rubbish and go, home?
Well, no wonder they feel so comfortable there. That's why they're so eager to get there, I suppose.
And, give it a couple of months and the moon will be full of slums.
Yep. And I don't know how it got there, but all the plastic's ended up on the moon.
I really hope no Indians watch this episode.
Yeah.
Just slammed them 5 minutes in.
Yeah, so I don't think there's too much to be said with the Russia one. We'll move on to the India one now.
Yeah, well, because in Russia it's like, yeah, okay, you did that. That's a really big surprise because you're a power.
Well, before the Indian one landed, I was thinking that perhaps there were some aliens on the other side of the moon which have taken out the spaceship before it landed. See,
that's not
it's a good scenario.
Yeah, that's not an unreal possibility.
Nobody's up there to prove it otherwise or for it, so we don't know where that could go. Right?
True.
It's only a theory. Now, so India has landed now on the news. And I'll put it in their words, they said it was announced as India has landed on the South Pole of the moon. That's how it was put.
I know, I remember that and I'm going, and this is probably a stupid thing.
The words in that order.
Yeah, well, I didn't know the moon had a south and north pole, to be honest.
Well,
I know that's probably a bit stupid, but
we'll
I didn't.
go back to the words again. India has landed on the South Pole, and there was a little pause on the moon. And I'm going, when you have a look at the pictures of the spacecraft, and you have a look at the surrounding area, it looks like all the ice on the South Pole, on Earth.
Yeah, well, hold on. You got to remember here.
So I don't know. Are you sure they landed on the moon?
Okay, well, America's got...
It's not another story like the United States one, is it?
No, you got to remember here. America's got Hollywood studios. India's got Bollywood, which is like the half-budget version of Hollywood.
Right.
So they had to deal with what they could, take.
Oh, well, I think, that could be it.
Whereas Russians, even though they probably didn't fake it, but they got tons of land to fake it with.
And they got lots of ice.
Oh, yeah.
Right, over there.
Up in the north.
Yep. So, look, I don't know. And it's just funny how there isn't much more about it on TV all of a sudden.
You know what I think is actually kind of stupid about it?
It's a bit, I don't know.
Well, they've got, I think the majority of Indian people are well and truly below the poverty line.
Yeah.
There's a lot of poor people, and their government's going, we got to go to space. Fuck the people that we've got here. Well, maybe they're actually looking for more room for them on the moon. That could have been more possibility.
Well, then,
Just establish a community on the moon.
I think they're thinking of the future. When you've got no more room on there.
But when you've got billions of people, I think you're going to fill the moon up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember.
Big,
Yeah, well, I can't remember exactly, but there's over 1 billion people in India, so you would pack the moon pretty quick.
And I'd like to just point something else out too on the footage that we saw.
Yeah.
There's nobody else up there except for this spacecraft, apparently. Right? Is there another spacecraft up there that's got a cameraman in it? How did they get the pictures of the spacecraft, like outside the spacecraft?
Oh, yeah, but
How does that?
wait, how far away were the photos from the spacecraft?
It looked like about 50 metres.
Okay, I can't let it up then. Because they could have had it on a pole.
No, it's much further than a pole. They'd send a little drone out or something, did they?
It's not entirely impossible.
Well, they didn't say anything about that.
No, they don't though.
You know,
They just expect you to take what's in the picture, not how the picture was taken.
right now.
Well, they did the same with the original moon landing.
Yeah.
They tell you to look at the image, not how it was done.
Yeah.
And when people looked at how it was done, that's how people figured out it was bullshit.
Right.
Some people still believe we landed there.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure about how to put this one, but we can go to this space station all the time.
Yeah, the ISS.
Where is this space station?
Orbiting around Earth.
How far out?
I don't know.
I haven't got the facts on this one.
Yeah, there is a number on it, but I don't know it.
Because what gets me a bit, because I think the moon, is the moon in the same sort of area of orbit than the spacecraft? How far away are they from each other?
I think the ISS is closer to Earth than the moon.
Right. Oh, okay.
Because I think it's still within Earth's orbit.
Oh, okay. So just in the stratosphere or something.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's within
Earth's
Earth's
orbit. We can go
orbit.
to there back and forwards, no problem.
Yeah. And we do all the time.
Right.
There is, I think, I could be wrong about this, but there's always 6 people on the International Space Station at any time.
Right.
Since it's been up there.
Yeah.
So wait, then do you... Yeah, obviously the Indians didn't really land it, but do you believe that any nationality of any country has gone to the moon and walked on it since?
I don't think they have.
No, you don't think they have? Okay.
No, I don't think they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd only give plausibility to the Russians.
Well, the other thing that gets me a bit is, how come we've got satellites and spaceships that can go all the way to Pluto and all these other things that the rings on Saturn we're looking at, and yet we can't get one to go to our own moon?
Exactly.
Does that make sense or what?
No, see, the reason I'm inclined to believe more that there's more chance that Russians could do it, because half of the technology has been Russian for many years. Well, I know this stopped a few years back, but every time we sent astronauts up into space to the ISS space station, we sent them in a Soyuz capsule, which is Russian designed.
Right.
We'd been using Russian technology since we started going up. We only stopped using those aircrafts, I think, mid 2010s.
Oh,
and now there's an American built aircraft that takes them up. But before that, we were using Russian. So it makes sense to me that the Russians would be a bit further ahead because they've been working on technology since well and truly before the Americans, so they should be a bit further up ahead.
Right. Well, that means it was taken out by aliens.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Russia's the only one that I can see plausible that's actually gone there. I don't
Right.
think anyone else has. The
Right.
Americans, I think the funny thing is I think some of these astronauts aren't lying in that I think what they saw, they believed, but they didn't realize they weren't in the moon. They didn't realize they hadn't actually traveled through space all this time. It had been simulated. Because there's too many astronauts that come back and say, oh, yeah, we went there and we did this. For it just to be a story, it sounds like they genuinely believe it. But I think it's because it was set up as a scene. They weren't actually there. And they were made to believe. Like there was an episode of NCIS.
Yeah, I could have that.
Well, you know, what they did with this guy was they wanted him to admit to his crime. And they said, if you don't, we're going to take you to Guantanamo Bay. This was once we stopped taking people there.
Oh, yeah.
And he was, you know, self-righteous. Oh, you're not going to take me there. They've had that closed for years now. And then the NCIS agent goes, yeah, that's what you think. They take him to a prison and he thinks he's in Guantanamo Bay. They flew him on a plane. All they really actually did was they got him on a military airplane, flew in circles for a few hours, landed, took him back to the prison on the airbase and told him that was Guantanamo Bay and got soldiers to pretend to be prisoners coming after him. So you can easily fool someone if what they see is what they believe, and that's the story they're going to tell.
Yeah.
They don't tell what they don't know.
Very easy to fool someone if the military's involved.
That's right. That's my point. So
Yeah,
I think
and the
I
government.
don't think the astronauts who said they've been there are lying because they believe what they think they really did do it. They were just made to believe something that isn't true.
So,
So where were you? Sorry.
Oh,
So the Russians, yes, they did it. Indians,
yeah.
no, they didn't.
Well, we don't know. They
Well-
said they have. And they had this footage from the South Pole.
Look, I'll grant that India is coming along technologically, in the technological sense, very, very fast. But I don't think they're there in space technology yet. I think they're going with the vehicles at the moment. I don't think they've gotten up to the space technology. I think that's another bullshit story like what North Korea used to
Yeah,
release.
yeah.
That
So
sort of
I can't give it too much merit,
No, neither would I.
all right? Because it just some things don't add up here.
Yeah, I don't believe one of...
Yeah, not to mention India's got that technology.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't get me wrong, there are some rich
Yeah,
people
no,
in
not
India,
picking on
as
them,
we're saying. There are some rich people in India, like every country, but the majority of India is really quite poor, so it kind of fathoms me that they would even think about starting a space program when their country is screwed. Yes, there's a lot coming along, like the vehicle industry is really moving very fast in India, but the people still aren't in good condition. So bugger space, look at your own people first, if they even really went, which neither one of us believed that they did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's amazing. That's
Yeah.
all I can say. But
it's amazingly bullshit, I think.
Yeah, can't give it much merit.
No, not there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't believe it.
I'm not trying to be racist, but I look at the state of your country and I go, no, you're not up to that yet.
There's too many things that say couldn't be.
Exactly right.
You know, it's not one thing. We're not picking on one thing, and we're not even picking. We're just putting facts together.
Yeah, just putting
right?
facts, and it's
So,
just saying,
you know,
like,
we don't pick on people.
I mean, if anything, it looks bad on them. It looks like they're focusing on space when they should be focusing on people.
Yeah,
it's
if
not
anything,
saying
yeah.
we're coming along. It's saying you're forgetting about your people.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I see it as, anyway.
yeah. So, no, very interesting.
It is,
To be
yeah.
honest, yeah.
It's interesting because it's not true, but it's interesting that this type of stuff they're trying to tell people that they've done when they haven't done it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Sorry about that. We got a little bit of an interruption with a call from one of Craig's mates. And he's a little bit of a talker.
Yeah, and it was important because I'm looking for a scanner to pick up the aircraft.
But it was kind of funny because
And
we're listening to that radio traffic and he goes, God, she talks a lot, doesn't she? We're both sitting here thinking you're describing yourself.
Yeah, the pot calling the kettle black there a bit.
Can't get rid of him.
Yeah, so
Like, we don't get rid of you. We just want to get rid of you when we're trying to film, that's all.
yeah, and it was important to call because I'm looking for one of these radios. Hard to
Exactly.
get, and
Yeah.
he just had to confirm that it's working right. And that was a lady talking on at Moorabbin Airport from the
Yeah, well,
tower.
they didn't hear that.
Yeah, you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's right, because we had to go off there for a minute.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back into it. So,
As we were talking, well, new subject.
well, we're going to the serious topic now.
Yes, right.
This is...
Back to Brendan, Mr.
Yeah, so you'll mostly be hearing from me on this subject, only because Craig has a little bit of a controversial opinion on it, and he's more of a realist looking at it from a human evolution point. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want anyone fucking giving him bad shit for it, because he's just really looking at a logical way of human evolution. Anyway.
You just go on and I'll put a few comments in here and there that they can pick up on it.
What's different about that?
Yeah. Everyone knows me. I know my attitude, Mr. Environment. And,
yes, there. See, that's the stuff you're a bit different about, because that's a different kind of saving that it needs. So what we're going to be talking about is, combined, US shootings and gun laws. Now, there is more than one shooting every single day in America. Someone dies every single day in America from a gun violence. But the ones that, well, actually, no, you know what? Before we get into that, let's talk about the numbers of mass shootings just this year. And this only goes up until the end of July, because we haven't got August numbers yet. But in total, there have been 427 mass shootings just this year. Total number dead, 492. Total number wounded, 1,708. Occurred at a school or university, 6. Interestingly, occurred at a place of worship, 0. Well, I'm thinking the school should be more of a place like, in certain aspects, don't pull me up on that. In certain aspects, it should be more like a bloody church where it's peaceful. But you see, when we don't see them all because they're happening that often, but when we see on the news about a school shooting that's happened, we talk about it that night on the news. The late night guys will talk about it on that show, and then next day, we all forget about it, and kids have been shot again. And I live in a country where I grew up not having a single worry in school about anyone coming in with a gun. The only problem we had in my high school was a hoax that was a bomb hoax. That's the closest thing we ever got. Some might want to come in with a weapon or baseball bat or knife. Even that was rare. But that's the most that can sort of happen. I know when you went to school, you would never even have the thought of someone coming into the school with a gun, would you?
Oh, no, the closest thing to someone having a gun was probably one of the teachers had the strap.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And you know what? If the teachers still had the damn strap, maybe some of these bloody assholes who turn into murderers could have been pulled into line a lot earlier, and instead of these taking the power away from the teachers. Actually, on that, I'm gonna make a quick note. I'm not going to detail Elaine because it is illegal, but everyone in that class believed what happened. When I was in year 8, a kid I was bullied quite bad, but we had a substitute teacher this day, and this kid had grabbed my metal ruler and smacked me on the knuckles with it. And then, to be a smart ass, he went and put that ruler in the teacher's handbag. Now, he didn't know that the teacher had seen the whole thing. So she went and grabbed that ruler out of her handbag. This is only in 2006, 2007, maybe a little bit earlier. So it's still illegal. It's illegal at this point. She went and grabbed the ruler out of her bag. She went over to where he was sitting at the desk, and she said, "Put your hand out on the table." No, she said, "Put your left hand out on the table." He said, "Why, miss? Why?" She said, "Put your hand out on the table." So he did it. Smack! Onto his knuckles. And all she said afterwards, she said, "That hurt, didn't it?" He said, "Of course, miss." She said, "Well, it hurt him just as much." And not a person in that classroom ever spoke up or against her, because I think you'll find the majority, someone could have been scared, but the majority of people in that classroom believe he just got justice. And I wish I had more teachers like her, because there was horrible instances where the principal witnessed, some really bad stuff happening to me, and he did nothing. That teacher was awesome, and I wish we had more like her. Anyway, back to my point. Point is, we didn't have to worry about gun violence growing up in Australia. In general, we don't have to worry about gun violence. We do have it from a lot of illegal guns. You can have a rifle, 22 rifle in Australia for hunting, and you can also have a handgun, but you can only have a handgun if you're part of a gun club, and you can only shoot it at the gun club, at the range. So we're very restricted. We can't have fully automatic rifles. Although a couple of years ago, some South Australian dickhead made it so that.
I
certain-
think you're allowed to have the pellet guns if you've got a problem with possums. No, that might not be true.
Yeah.
It's probably not true, actually. No, that's not true.
No, that's definitely not true.
Oh, right.
But yeah, we don't have assault rifles. We can't go down the shop and get an AK-47 or a bloody M4 or high power weapon. And like when these school shootings really started to come on the news, you were sad. You're seeing all these kids being innocent kids just being flat out murdered, and you're sad. When you keep seeing it and seeing it and nothing's ever bloody been done, you get angry. Now, my opinion here and what I'm going to say, half of it is if the right people listen, they can speak up and make a change. That's what we have to do this down. I'll get more onto that in a second. But also, I watch all this, the news, I read all the media, I read everything about these school shootings that comes out. And I just got all these things on my mind. I just want to, basically it's venting, but it's also putting some reality, like numbers and facts to it about what the reality is. Because us Australians aren't in America, we're not learning the reality of it.
Now, hang on a minute. I was just being told it wasn't possums, it was cats.
We're going to get us fucking cancelled.
Go on, sorry.
No, wait, you know what? Craig Ferguson had a show from 2005 to 2014. At the end of every single show, there was a cat getting hurt joke. So it's probably not that bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it was a joke.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, you got to keep these things lighthearted.
Yeah.
Because, this what I am saying is serious, but you got to have some joy in it as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're like the rest of the world.
Yeah. It'd be a boring show if you didn't have a bit of humour.
Yes, that's right. But yeah, we see all these things, all the school shootings, and the one thing you never see in any of these news stories is what they're doing to change it. The only things I've seen that have been to change it are in a negative way. I know Biden recently passed some law to make it tougher for, I can't remember what they were exactly. The reason I don't remember it very well is because it wasn't very important.
No, I think it was for 14-year-olds to get their licence or something.
You know what? That's probably not half.
It's made it up to 16 or something.
Well, there is an absolute moron. I think he's governor or senator, Ron DeSantis.
Oh, yeah.
A little while ago, he made a law or passed a bill so people with bloody mental conditions can easier get the fucking weapons.
Yeah.
Why would you make it easier for anyone who's mentally sick to get weapons? I've got, I haven't really talked about this, but I deal with depression and anxiety and all that, a few other things. I should never have a gun. Not because I can go and kill people, but because I can harm myself. I haven't got the illness that says that you're going to turn on people, but I have got one that...
We even had to hide all the kitchen knives. Oh, go on, sorry.
I think... there was one point all the medication had to be hid from me, so
Yeah.
Because I have...
Because you could take them all and be...
Well, I tried it.
Oh.
I don't know, I can speak about that too. 2010, I tried to commit suicide. I think you should talk about it because it normalises what a lot of people go through. But yeah, 2010, I took 20 or 25 NDEP tablets, which is the painkiller drug, codeine.
Oh, yeah.
I think. But I took 25 of them and didn't work, and I had to be induced into a 24-hour coma. Horrible thing. Especially waking up. And because you're in a coma, you can't walk straight away because your body's been still for over 24 hours. So you can't. Anyway, not talking about what happened to me. We're talking about what happened to these kids. So yeah, basically, I'm so sick of seeing nothing to change, and why any freaking senator would ever make it easier for people with mental illness to get a gun just doesn't even make sense. But this little maggot is completely controlled by the NRA. Like, he is their little puppet. They got their hands so far up his ass, it's not even funny. Now, that's not to say a lot of the American government itself isn't controlled by the NRA, but he is like their poster boy. And I also think when it comes to the NRA, and this goes further than just the NRA, but I don't think you should be allowed to be in government if you have stocks or ownerships or anything that would make you, what's the word I'm looking for here? That would make you favour the NRA when you're in government.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bias, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you got anything association with the NRA, if you got an association with the pharma industry, all that sort of stuff, it should be against the law for you to serve in government because you can't serve as an unbiased member of the government. You're always in the pocket of whoever put you in that position, whether it be the NRA, whether it be the pharma companies, whatever. But so long as you've got the government, members of the government are allowed to be involved in the NRA, nothing's going to change. These little maggots, pieces of shit, I mean, there's no amount of words I would stop to say that they are. Like, as an insult, they are all kinds of pieces of shit, filth, whatever you want to call them. That's what the NRA
I
is.
don't think you can say that, mate.
Kiss my ass.
Right. Okay.
I like, if they want to come and kill me, cool. But at least I got to say what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I don't know him. I'm just sitting in the same desk.
Yeah. He's just I'm just some bloke he got in off the street.
Yeah, I met him before.
Right. But let's put some numbers to this because this is what, and it really is. It's all to blame on the NRA and the government. They're not doing a fucking thing. Every day, 120 Americans are killed with guns. 120. What the?
No, I think it's a big industry.
No shit.
Yeah, and the sales and stuff of these guns and all these companies making money. There's a big thing. You can't just stop that.
You know what? Honestly, what I'd like to find out is how many people the American soldiers were killing in other lands. I don't think it would be this many a day. Their own people are dying more than the people they're killing in the Middle East.
Well, it's not such a bad thing.
No,
Really.
but it kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it? The soldiers aren't even killing as many people as their own people.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Each day, 12 children die from gun violence in America. Another 32 are shot and injured. I would hate to be a kid in the fucking America. I really would. I would be scared shitless, not only of the world the way it is, but like there was a lady Mum works with who said she moved from Texas, US to here 100% because of the gun violence. She said everyone has guns and she said there's shootings all the time.
Yep.
It's not.
That's what's good about it.
But you can understand why.
Keeping the population
like
down.
their heads are so messed up at the American people because it's so horrible.
It's every normal thing, standard stuff.
It's almost that's actually it's kind of the problem. It has become so normalized we accept that it's happening.
Yeah.
We don't try and stop it. Like guns are the leading cause of death among American children and teens. 1 out of 10 gun deaths are aged 19 or younger. They're still babies. An estimated 4.6 million American children live in a home where at least one gun is kept, loaded and unlocked. These improperly stored weapons have contributed to school shootings, suicides and the deaths of family members including infants and toddlers. That's like, okay, if you can't put a freaking gun in a locker, then what the hell are you doing with that gun? It's one of the most simple things about gun ownership. Put it in a case and make sure it's locked. If you can't even do that, you should not have a freaking gun.
Yeah, I think what some people do there is if your gun is in a case and your bullets are over there, right?
Well, have it.
No, listen.
Put them in the same case.
And someone comes to the door and breaks the door and is going to rob you.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it's going to take to get that gun out and get the bullets into there?
But on the same token,
if it's loaded next to my bed like that,
he's just as big an idiot for putting them in two boxes.
This is why they do it.
Then, like,
this is why it's got to be close by.
That's what I mean. Put the bullets in the same case.
Yeah, and, I'm not saying any, but these must be bad people. But like, if you're in this situation, you're in this community. This is why they've got to have it sitting there loaded.
Well, that's how they think, and they think everyone next door neighbour's got it, so I got to get. Yeah. It's that thing. If everyone does it, it's okay if I do it.
Yeah.
No bullshit. We all know that's wrong.
And you teach the kids, don't touch that.
Do they in America?
I don't know. You would think
every
so.
freaking kid picks up a gun. Like I was here ages ago, heard an interview from Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's a wrestler. He said by the age of 5, I had a gun in my hand.
Yep.
And he grew up in Texas.
Yep. I had one when I was 5.
Yeah,
and they took it off me when I was 7 because all the laws changed.
Having said that, you had a .22 rifle, didn't you?
Yeah, and a slug gun, and
but you didn't have anything You didn't have a bloody,
I
assault
didn't have
rifle.
MK-77.
You didn't have a sniper.
47, and no, I
No.
didn't. We had double-barrel shotguns, 22s.
And
Someone
that's-
had a 303.
That's still relatively the common thing, especially shotguns on a farm.
Yeah.
They use them there.
Yeah.
But
My
we don't
brother and I
have
had
these.
slug guns, and I always got a pellet in the arse,
Well, generally, when weapons are used in crimes,
Yeah.
they're stolen weapons in Australia. They're
Yeah.
not bought legally. They're
And then I had to go and
imported.
punch him in the head, and then,
All right, careful, because some statutes of limitations haven't passed on that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing that bugs me is, and I know it's really, really hard, but this is a fact right here. In 4 out of 5 school shootings, at least one other person had knowledge of the attacker's plan but failed to report it.
That's noise.
Yeah, that's just our computer. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
It reckons we need to update our virus protection, even though we're not connected to the internet. Anyway,
No, yeah.
if you think there is something wrong with someone, that they might go do something, or they're not in a good headspace, talk, speak up. We've got so many communities these days. We've got the LGBT. I'm not going to apologise. There's too many damn letters. Keep it simple. They're the only letters I can remember. I'm sorry I can't remember it, but
I
keep
told
it
you what the
simple.
community was called.
Careful. You almost got us screwed one other time before.
It was easy to say.
Again, he's a logical human evolution view. He's not. It's not nasty. He's just logical evolution.
When I went to school, they were called.
Don't.
I won't say. All right, I won't say then.
They're part of the gay lesbian community.
my
I'm not
God.
going to go into the others because I don't
You
necessarily believe in the.
Kmart.
Oh shit! I just said I don't believe in some of the rest. We're cancelled.
Oh, no.
Oh crap! No, you know what? I'm not going to cut that out.
We're gone now.
Well, I've already slammed the Indian, so
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a pretty good episode. If this doesn't get us off, nothing will. We haven't even
we might
finished
actually,
yet.
no, we might actually get some views on it because it's bad. I don't know. Anyway, I got to stop joking when I'm in a serious point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you there's all these communities speaking up. We've got the LGBT, we've got the Me Too movement, we've got an Aboriginal movement happening in Australia, which is, my opinion is it's really good, and I'm going to be voting yes. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. You've got all these people speaking up. Who's speaking up for the kids? The kids can't speak up for themselves. That's our job as adults, as people trying to take care of children, as taking care of the future. We haven't done a goddamn thing. I'm wondering, is it going to be something like one of the president's child has to be shot at school for the government to go, fuck, we got to do something. Let's have a look at some of the numbers. And by the way, the average, hold on, let's get this, I'm going to get this correct. Since 1999, 7 in 10 school shootings have been carried out by people under the age of 18. When counting cases where the shooter's age was recorded, so sometimes it's not recorded because they don't actually know the age of the person. So that means the median age of the school shooters is 16. A lot of these kids are now messed up because of the environments they're living in America. And I'm going to guess that some of these kids have been affected by the gun violence, and that's why they end up as shooters themselves, because their minds are getting so goddamn messed up. It's beyond. And you know something else interesting? It's not one particular race that's doing these crimes, these shootings. Actually, 74% of them are white. 25 black, 11 Latino, 10 Asian, 5 other, whatever that is. 3 Native American, and 14 unknown or unclear. So this is the whites. This is not a race thing at all. I mean, yes, more whites are doing it, but in general, it's not a race thing. Now, if you want to give an idea just how bad the school shootings have been and have gotten. Now, everyone remembers Columbine, where they killed a number of students. 2005, we had 11 school shootings, 13 deaths.
Going on a bit, so I'm having to smoke.
You go ahead. You relax. 2007, 9 events, 38 deaths. And there's some more, but I'm just going to go to the ones closer. 2018, 42 events, 43 deaths. 2022, there was 1 incident with 22 deaths. In 2022, there were a total of 52 events and 49 deaths. This is ridiculous. All these children dying, all these parents crying every day, crying. It's time to stop being sad and grieving, and time to get angry and stand up and bloody speak. We're trying to, make this world ready for the future, make it better for the next generation, get the global warming under control. What about the guns? To give you an idea, I understand your Second Amendment and you have to protect yourself, but so does everyone else in the world. And let's have a look here. 2023 in total. No, school shootings by country 2023. United States, 288. The next one below that is Mexico at 8. School shootings aren't happening like this around the world. It's only in America because you have absolutely pathetic gun laws, and the dollar is more worthy to you than human life, but not just human life, a child's life. What happened? Actually, this would be really interesting to find out. How many NRA members have had their kids in school shootings? That would be interesting to find out. I bet you it's low, because I can't see majority of members going, no, we'll let the guns, but we've got our kids getting shot, but we'll let the guns stay. They're not going to be saying that.
Oh, it probably is.
Well, then, yeah, they are that stupid. You're right. They probably would.
It has to be.
I mean, let's have a look. How Americans feel about US gun laws. 57% says more strict, not outlaw them, more strict. 32% says keep as now. 10% says less strict.
I think they treat their gun stuff like cars. They've got to have a car.
Yeah,
and kids get run over in cars, but
we're
still having a car.
They see it as something like every American's got to have.
Yes, it's a necessity like a car.
It's like a social security number. You have to have one if you're an American.
Yes, and that's that. Regardless of it's kids get run over or shot, whatever. Oh no! We have these. We still have these. Yeah.
I mean,
we don't blame the gun.
And another problem they've got is here we've got some numbers on about the gun lobby and their opponents.
Yeah.
Their opponents, over the most they've spent, which was in 2021, was just under $5 million on,
They put a lot of their emphasis on the person behind the gun, not the gun.
That's right. They don't want to take blame at the beginning.
That's why the gun laws aren't changing.
So, they spent, in 2021, the max they spent was about $5 million. 2013, they spent roughly that too.
All they can do is change what the people are doing, which is what Joe Biden did.
Well, the gun rights groups spend at minimum in 2008 they're spending $5 million. As you can see, it's gone right up. I might put this graphic up on the screen so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Look how much it's gone up to in about 2013. They spent over $20 million on campaigning for gun rights.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely pathetic.
Yeah. Shouldn't
allowed to exist.
Again, it's about money.
It is. This is all about money. Yeah. And I'm just sick of seeing this crap where we go, it's so bad, it's so bad. The next day we forget about it and those kids are back in terror. It makes, even though we're in a country that doesn't have to worry about that, even my nieces and nephews, that makes me just go, they're growing up into a fucking horrible world and horribly violent world.
Yeah. It's not a problem here, though.
No, but we are going to violence here, sadly.
Yeah.
But
we'll never have gun laws like that. We're going backwards on our laws. So we're in the right space.
So I don't know how many Americans know about this, but what we had something called an armistice. That's what it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
In 1996, where the government bought back all of our weapons.
Yeah, buy back, or you could just donate them back, whatever.
Yeah. So that's how we got gun control in Australia, and it's working very, very, very well. But we haven't got it sort of indoctrinated into us that we need a gun. So that's why we're all okay. Well, majority of us are okay not having the sort of guns they can have in America.
And that.
Yeah, but we can use .22 rifles and stuff. When we're not shooting possums, we're shooting legal animals.
We're just joking about the possums. We have got a possum problem. We're joking about that. We put electric fences up instead. Anyway, let's get it back on with the show.
Anyway.
There's proper pet fence, electric fence.
The thing I'm also sick of hearing is an American, they'll use, and I'm not saying they all do this, but the ones who do this piss me off. The ones who sit behind their Second Amendment right as to why they can keep guns. Let me tell you a little something about your Second Amendment. You need to stop using this to defend your right to own a gun. Amendment means to change, or more precisely, amendment, a minor change or addition designed to improve a text. Example, piece of legislation. So this means another amendment could be added to change gun ownership laws. So stop sitting behind your Second Amendment, because they can make another amendment that outlaws that one. So it's not like you got this right that can't be changed. It can be changed, and it damn well should be. The majority of Americans who have got guns, I'm sick of what the news media over there says, that majority of gun owners are responsible gun owners. Bullshit. If the majority are responsible gun owners, you wouldn't have as many goddamn shootings like this. The majority of gun owners are not responsible. The majority of gun owners do not know when to use it and when not to use it. The majority of gun owners don't even know how to safely keep it, as we just saw. They keep them in areas where kids can get to them in unlocked cases. Get some smarts, parents. You're screwing your kids up with a frickin' weapon. Cut the weapons out, and people speak up. Us Australians, we don't have to speak up. And right now, we've probably only got Australian viewers. But if we ever get American viewers, I hope in some form of way, some of these facts have woken you up and realised you need to speak up. You, your neighbour, your family, the townspeople, you all need to speak up. Of course, he hasn't got much, like I said, he hasn't got much opinion on this because he has a different view. He's got an evolutionary view on this. But I'm just in that spot where I'm going, I really, and I'm not trying to sound mean or anything like that, but I don't get affected too much when I see an adult being killed. Doesn't affect me that bad. But when I see a child, multiple in most cases, that has no defence, has no idea of the danger they're in.
My view goes down similar to the duck season view.
Yeah, population control.
Yeah. And it's like, you
that's,
shoot one duck, you save 1,000 tadpoles.
Careful.
Yeah.
So Craig's view is along the population control thing. It's not trying to be mean.
We like duck season.
He's just logical and looking at it from human evolutionary point of view. But it would be controversial if he detailed it, which is stupid. He should be allowed to say what he wants.
And they use guns. Right, there you
go. So yeah, and I think that's at the end of that. I just want to remember your Second Amendment isn't a right. It can be changed. It can be changed, and it needs to be changed. Whether you change the Second Amendment to really restrict what sort of guns you can have, do it like us. Just have the bloody 22 rifles. If someone comes in your house and you think you can shoot them with a 22, then probably not going to, you've got a good chance of surviving a 22 bullet, haven't you?
Oh, well, you shoot him in the leg.
Yeah. If you don't get shot in the head, you can probably survive a 22, can't you?
Yeah.
Get those. That's all you need. You don't need a handgun. You don't need an assault rifle. And don't anyone tell me you're going to go hunting with an assault rifle, because if so, you don't give a fuck about nature. That's not how you kill. You do not kill an animal with an automatic rifle. You kill them with a sniper, a rifle, a normal, bolt action rifle. Take some bloody skill. Don't slaughter the animals. And I have seen some videos of people doing that. It's just disgusting. But yeah, even if one American hears this and feels inspired to speak up, I've achieved a goal, really, because I know a lot of people aren't going to give a shit what I'm saying, but I want to say it because I've had this all in my head for years now, and as you can see, I've done a shitload of research that began early in the year, and I just find right. So, yeah, basically to sum up that subject, if I want to vent my opinion, because I've been holding it for a long time, and I know mostly Australians view this at the moment because we're just starting out. But if even one American sees this, or really anyone who sees this and feels the need to speak up, I've accomplished something positive from venting my opinion and giving you the facts. But let's finish the episode on a bit of a lighter note. I hear you've got a bit of an issue with the supermarket.
Oh yeah. You're talking about when I used to. Oh yeah, when I go
It
there.
was at the
and-
local one, yeah.
Yeah, because I found there was a problem with the pears.
And I believe there's some few other things you had an issue
Oh,
with. in
there's
the
a few.
store.
We'll start
Yeah.
with the pears, I think.
Yes.
Because what happened, I worked out how you can get them for free, actually, right? For the viewers, what you do, and I've done this, right? Because I don't really eat many pears anyway, and I only want one, right? So I just noticed something. I bought one pear, and I took it up to the counter. I got me over shopping in it, and I just noticed when she was putting it through, she's put. It comes up as pears, right?
Yep.
And she's charged me for it.
Yeah.
But I only bought one, right? And I explained that to him, right? And I said, but that's wrong. I said, it's wrong. It's not $1.09. It's half of that because I only got one. That's for a pear. And she said, no. And I said, get the manager, right? Anyway, and I went on to say, because I said, well, make the docket. Give me the docket. And I had to point out, even on the docket was wrong. Because on the docket it says pears, and then the price, right? So even the print's wrong, because it's not pears, it's only one, and it should say one pear. It says a pear, and then, and of course the pear's wrong. It can't be a pear, because it's only one, so they can't write pear. And it's all wrong. And then, right, and here this is the snag, right? This is where you'll get them, right? Now, because you have to go to Coles, especially if you're in Coles, because Coles has got a policy, right? If Coles makes a mistake, guess what? You get that product for free. So you point this out to them. They've made a mistake. There's two mistakes here. The print's wrong, and they've wrongly charged me. So I get that product. So now you get your pears for free, right? So you can get the whole bag of pears. You have to go in and out a few times. You probably have to go to a different store eventually because you get the bag full, right? Because they're going to kick you out, right? Because normally, that's when they went and got security. Actually, they went and got security. I had to leave, right?
Just so you know, he's like the king of dad jokes.
Yeah, and now that was one incident, right? And I also had an incident with the butter. I bought this butter and they said it was light.
All right.
And I went home. I bought two. I bought the normal one and I bought the light one.
And it's just as heavy.
I put it on the scales and it was the same weight.
I can't believe it.
I went back, right? So because it was wrong, I got that for free because it was wrong, right? Because I made a mistake, right? And I did it with another one with the salt reduced stuff. And you get the salt reduced. Someone's made a mistake at the factory and it should be discounted. I want a discount because there's no salt in it. Why am I being charged the same, right? When half the ingredients aren't in there, right? When I get home, the first thing you got to do is tip it a little bit out, so there's room to put some more salt back in it. You got to put the salt in it and shake it up, right?
My cheeks are hurting.
And I've done that one, and I found a problem with the sugar, the black and gold sugar. I'm not joking.
Hold on. For other people, Black and Gold's a brand.
Yeah, and mate, I took it out and I put it on the counter and I said, I'm going to show you something, right? I've done this at home and I know that I'm right. And I've opened the top and I've poured the whole thing out on the counter and I said, where's the gold? There's no gold in this packet. And I've been right through it and I couldn't even find any black bits. So I got that for free, right? I think they've seen enough, really. I could go on all day.
Yeah, no, here's what the funniest part about all of that is.
So I got half.
He really does that to them.
Yeah,
he does that to a cashier.
I got half my shopping for free, right? I got 2 bags. One of them I didn't pay for. Because
They just give it to him for free because they're like, oh, this guy's talking some shit.
Yeah, and then the manager came out again and he said, don't come back. Right, go to another store, he said.
So
I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with the viewers because I didn't think it was really fair, but I got my way in the end, right? So I didn't pay for it.
all right. I gotta have my cheeks.
Yeah. IGA and Coles, by the way. Give them a plug because they're so good about it.
You just left Coles out of that.
No, Coles was there.
No, you said IGA and Woolworths.
No, IGA and Coles.
You said IGA and Woolworths.
No.
Go back and watch it. You'll see.
Well,
you
even Woolworths, same thing. Look, it doesn't matter where you go. These are your rights. Hey, go on. Sorry, it's your turn. Yeah, I think I've said enough.
All right.
That's
So-
my jokes for the day, right?
That's Craig's jokes. He won't be picking Robin Williams ones this week. Only I will.
Yeah. These are from Uncle Linton. By the way.
By the way, that is another alter ego of Froggy here. You've got a few.
Uncle Linton's Adventures or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had that. Yeah, we had that.
Yeah.
I think it was actually that was actually more popular than our Magic's Kitchen.
Mm.
Actually, our most popular episode ever, which has got 5.4K, was the Brown Tree Frogs of Uncle Linton's Adventures.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's still available. The Magic's Kitchen, most of that's gone. Anything we didn't have views on, I just got rid of. Or was never going to get views anyway.
Yeah, just take them off. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've got even going to take off the update videos because they don't need to be there anymore.
Yeah.
But yes, so anyway, to our joke segment, and I'll whip off, whirl off. What did I say?
Signing off what?
No, when you say I'll pull a couple, I don't know.
Pull
I'll
the
just
rabbit out of my hat.
No, it's like pull a couple jokes out or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
All right, first one. What's George Bush doing now? He's a motivational speaker. It's kind of cool. It's like of having Lindsay Lohan as a guidance counsellor. Sorry, Lindsay, I know you're doing really well, but that's still funny.
Yep.
Because, you really kind of made a mess of your life a little while back.
Just a little bit.
With Paris Hilton. So that explains a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen her speak normally? Like, I'm sure you've heard her on TV. She has a, hi, how are you? I didn't know that was a character voice.
Oh.
She doesn't really sound like that.
No, I haven't really seen that.
No, I found that quite interesting. She sounds really normal when she doesn't have that voice on.
Right.
This one I personally love. We can't really say why, but you'll get it when you hear it. They said marijuana was a performance-enhancing drug. Marijuana enhances many things. Colours, taste, sensations, but you are certainly not fucking empowered. When you're stoned, you're lucky if you can find your own goddamn feet. The only way it's a performance-enhancing drug is if there's a piece of chocolate on the end of the bench.
Yep.
Other than that, you ain't getting it. But that was my two for the week. I like that second one. People who know me and know us will know why we like that one.
Yep.
We're not stupid enough to say it on the podcast in Australia.
No.
Like, we're alluding to it, but so long as we don't admit it, we're sweet. Anyway, but as I said at the top of the episode, it really help us a lot if you can hit that. What is it, Craig? The like,
The like button.
subscribe.
Subscribe.
What's the last one?
Don't know.
Share.
Oh, share.
So like, subscribe, and share. Helps us out a great deal. And that's all from us for this week's episode of the Magic Podcast. I'm Rocky,
And I'm Froggy.
and we'll catch you next week.
Yep. See you later.